All right, hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the Inven Global podcast. My name is Nick Durazio and I am here once again with Eric and Dell. What's up, Eric?
What is up, Nick? How's it going?
Oh, nothing. We just got a special guest. Today we have our very first Inven Global intern. Welcome to the esports stage at Burger Bros. What's up, Burger?
Not much. Thanks for letting me join you guys.
Yeah, how are you?
Burger Boy?
So, Burger Boy, could you please introduce us by your full legal name?
My full legal name?
Yes.
Andrew Berger.
Andrew Berger.
B-U-R-G-E-R. Yep.
What a great last name, right?
It's pretty good.
It's really good. I get a little bit of a discount if I go to a burger place.
No, I bet so, dude. If you,
I'm totally kidding.
What if you started your own burger joint though? I'd eat at your burgers, like, or if my name's not Andrew Berger, you'd be trying to make ads and stuff for it.
Yeah,
I'd love it.
A little bit of me in each burger.
Wow. Okay. So,
okay.
Excuse me, need to open the window here. So dark. Anyways,
Sure.
We have a exciting episode for you guys today. But per usual, we are here to tell you about what games we've been playing. So I guess, Eric, can you start? What games have you been playing, man?
Yeah, dude. Thanks to the long weekend, I was finally able to finish Persona 5 Royal. I put like 25 hours into it over the course of 3 days. So just kind of looking through it. And all the new stuff was kind of gated behind like the original ending for the game. So I got to see like all the new stuff. There were like new bosses and new characters and new endings, and it was great. It's a good time. Yeah, 9 out of 10 for me.
So like, I'm curious, what drives you to play one of those games above all of the other like popular games going on right now, right? Because I don't think I just can dive into those things because I'm too busy playing Animal Crossing. I'm too busy playing like Valorant, right? Like, I'm not over those games.
Just the Persona series in general has a special place in my heart. Persona 4 Golden is like my favorite game of all time. Persona 5, while I don't like it as much, is objectively a better game, and I don't know, it's just nice. A big part of it is just like it's the turn-based combat, but it's also like doing all the social link stuff, like hanging out with people, leveling them up, and it's just super casual. It's super nice. You're just like living your days out. And
so Andrew, do you like RPGs? Have you played RPGs or at all?
They really don't fit my game, like the games I normally play. I'll play DayZ, which is kind of an RPG if you bend the rules of an RPG a little bit.
Yeah,
dude,
kind of.
Is DayZ out yet, or is it technically still in early access?
I think it's still technically. I think it's in beta now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they left early access. I think it's like a beta now. I don't know what's going on.
Man, with those games, sometimes it's hard to tell, right?
Yeah.
There's so many people who are against the concept of these early alphas because it's like, we're pretty much like quality assurance testing the games for free. So it's like, why would I do this?
I get it. Like, some of these developers just take it super literally. Like, I'm not going to say it's done and put it out if it's not done and I'm still updating it, so it's just forever in early access. So
how does this market even work though? Like, since when did gamers get so desperate to play new games that we don't want to play a finished product? Like, you would never expect someone to drive half of a car or like this beta version of a new car that hasn't been safety tested, right? Like all these other industries, clearly it's quality assurance, but do we just have no value of our time that I'll play this beta mess?
I think early access gets a bad rep. Only when it really goes poorly and you just point out the game like, oh, why would you ever like put this out? It's not done. It's got like the early access sticker on it. But there's plenty of games like Risk of Rain 2 I played a ton of. And that's still in early access. It's been like over a year now, but yeah, everything that launched with that game when it hit the store was awesome, and they've only made it better since, adding characters and biomes, and they're just not confident enough to call it a finished product, but you're still getting like a ton out of it. So
I feel as if maybe part of the reason, and here this is me just spitballing here, because Andrew, if you thought for in any way, shape, or form this podcast was going to be about very professional, no, we pretty much talk about what we want, right?
Yeah.
But
hey, that's what podcasts are.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's podcasts. So I have this theory. What if the reason why people are so obsessed with like the golden age of gaming and why I love all these classics is because when I played them, they were finished like works of art. Like when I played like Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo or like Legend of Zelda for the 64, like they were finished games. They were shipped. And maybe now it's like each game I play, like with Valorant, my love of the game at max hype, it was still not the most beautiful game, not the most polished game, right? It like wasn't full. So maybe that's why, I don't know, your casual consumer isn't already in love with some of these games, right?
I would say the like early access, you said where it kind of came from. It kind of came from Steam with like Greenlight, where it was like this good idea of like you get a community game, like a game that someone is making, and then you have the community be like, hey, we want to help this person, and then people are like, hey, what if people bought the game to help me make it?
Yeah.
But now people are like, if I buy the game, I expect it to be fully finished.
Yeah.
But if you kind of know that like it's a work in progress, like Valorant, it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Because it just came out. Like you should not go into it and be like, I'm not going to encounter any bugs.
Yeah.
No crashes, no hackers. But it also definitely depends on, I'd say, how well, like how nice the developer is and how much they keep within the boundaries of early access. If they're like, I'm gonna tag it as early access so I have like no liability when I mess up, it is what it is. But
I'll definitely say that if I get into a game when it first launched in early access and I'm like continuously playing it, through its development cycle up until launch, just kind of the excitement factor is just spread out so far between like it's sections, so like I played Hades and stuff, and they come up with like new biomes, so I'll play the game, play to the newest biome, and then I won't touch it again until the next biome comes out. So instead of just playing at launch when I can just play all this new content and just have it all, just kind of the way that early access kind of enables this is you're really only getting like small chunks of that experience. So
yeah, I mean, I think you guys both have some pretty good points, and I also wanted to shout out to 3TT09 in the chat. You brought up some pretty good points. I think it's much more feasible to have an early access game if you know that you're contributing to it, right? I think that kind of is the thing that settles most with me. There are games that I would have loved to support through the process because I know they're niche and maybe they don't have this big budget funding. I'd be okay with essentially beta testing their game. I think that's, a pretty good point. Well, anyways, Andrew, what have you been playing now that Eric's video game somehow got us on that conversation, which was great?
Been playing DayZ. It was free this weekend, so I suckered some friends in to come play Walking Simulator, as they started calling it. DayZ is a game that it's truly a bender game for me. Like about once a year, I'll play it for like a couple weeks, just nonstop. I'll drop any other game, and then either I'll die too many times, or I'll just be like, I got everything I wanted. I'm done.
So is there like progression in that game? Do you like level up? Like I literally have like.
I mean, your skills do, right? It's definitely one of those.
It's like completely. You get dropped on the coast of this island, not island, but I'm gonna call it an island because you can't leave it and go really far away. You're dropped on the coast, and your goal is to survive. That is your one goal.
But it's not like a battle royale game, right?
No, like there's no winner of DayZ. You cannot win DayZ. You have to just kind of set a goal in your mind and be like, okay, my goal is to go inland and go to the airfield, get some military loot, and build a base. And then once you complete that, then you're done. Or you're like, I want to grind out and server hop for hours to make a car.
I have no idea. I can't even fathom what you're talking about. I think it's because I've never played the game. I've never just played DayZ.
Once you die, though, you lose like all of your progress.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then you respawn on the coast, and you gotta work all your way back in.
Well, you know, gosh.
And there's no mini map either. So you have to use some like orienteering skills and like.
You know, I think genres really speak a lot to the type of people that like them. I have this concept now that as you like to describe it, aren't battle royales just the Hearthstone equivalent of the FPS genre? Like, it's just enough randomness, it's just enough luck. There's there's so much luck involved that even the most unskilled goof can win sometimes, that it's like the lottery, which is why Hearthstone, in terms of like a card game as opposed to like Magic the Gathering, it's just super casual. You just like mindlessly roll the dice. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot more to Hearthstone too, but I'm trying to understand the large term of people because I've never played those games really. It sounds really awful to me, to be honest, but I bet it's fun.
Yeah, like DayZ, it's, you know, I come from an outdoors background.
Okay.
So it's very like I kind of know all that stuff. It's like I'll think of something, you'll be like, oh, look, there's water there. I probably shouldn't drink it, you know, because it's probably been sitting there for a while. But like DayZ, it just has a special place in my heart of just like there's sometimes you'll be walking and you like look up and the game will just be beautiful because it's a huge map. I mean, it takes you hours to get to places.
I mean, I definitely have games that I really can't explain why I love them so much. There's this game called Slipstream. It's like a Cruising USA kind of retro driving game that doesn't do anything particularly special, but I don't know, I just find it like super relaxing, getting all the drifts in and everything. Yeah, it's I put like hundreds of hours into that game. It's so good to me.
Honestly, I do love a good racing game.
Yeah. Soundtrack bops too.
Oh yeah, man, that's it. It's the soundtrack.
So good.
My talking about racing games, my brother bought one of those Logitech racing wheels.
Oh, so yeah.
Anytime I go home, I have F1 2018.
Wait, the Logitech racing wheels. What is that one?
It's like I don't.
It's like gaming paraphernalia. You know.
Oh,
it's just like
one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's got the pedals and like it's force feedback. So like if you try and turn a corner, it'll actually push against you.
That's really cool. That's how I feel would be the only thing to get me into those sorts of games, is like that kind of layer to it. I tried to play, it was like one of the racing games that came with my PSVR, and just kind of try and do it with the controller didn't really work super well. So I don't know. That sounds super cool though.
You know,
it's fun.
I'm trying to find the image to it because I'd love to show you guys, but there is this classic Namco Ridge Racer controller that it's so, you know, imagine you're holding like a Super Nintendo controller, right? But what if in the center of it you could just twist it like all the way? You could just, it's super smooth. So you're twisting it like you're kind of grinding up something, and that's the way that you turn. And like among console racing fanatics, that controller is like the almighty best controller to play racing games on, because it's so sensitive. The amount of control you have is just insane, and it's like you're just using a normal controller. So I would love to play one of these really chill games with something like that.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah, man.
I enjoy this
because I have one of those controllers. They're super expensive now, but I'm sure someone's found a way to hook it up to like a PC or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
What are you playing, Nick?
Oh, me? Well, I'm always playing my old man rotation is what I call it. So it starts with WoW Classic. My WoW character, she is as geared as she will ever be. I'm not gonna raid. I'm not gonna work. I'm not gonna get more gear. But I'm good. Like, my character is epic. I could go into any PvP zone and just destroy people because my gear's on another level. But I'm just not doing any more raiding. So for me, it's like just wading through these familiar waters. Just log in. I put on a movie, and then I put on my WoW screen on like one, and I'm just literally PvPing mindlessly. So I've been playing tons of that. And then when I want a little buzz, I go with Heroes of the Storm. I still play Heroes of the Storm. I know, a dead
I saw
game.
You playing this weekend.
It's a fun game. It's a really fun game. Listen, I know it's a dead game, but like a MOBA's a MOBA, and Heroes of the Storm has gone through patch over patch. And actually, I will say, this has to do with something we're going to talk about later in the podcast. But, you know, Blizzard, this quarantine's been good for you in terms of balance patches. All right? Overwatch is doing good. Overwatch esports is fun to watch. Everyone is giving them props as they should. Listen, this podcast has dunked on the Overwatch League many times. Because for the longest time, Overwatch was a horrible game. And I'm just going to say that. And I bought all the t-shirts. And I was a fan. I have Tracer and Widowmaker statues all over my house.
It was a horrible esports game for a long time.
Yes.
I wouldn't say that Overwatch itself was never like...
Well, yes, but this is an esports podcast, and I work for an esports company. And yes, it's true. I personally dunked on the game as an esport, because to me, I don't know, a game is viewed in that lens, especially when it's something like Overwatch. So, but it's gotten a lot better. And I also think Heroes has gotten a lot better as well, Heroes of the Storm. So I just think someone at Blizzard is making the right calls, or someone with real game balance, acumen. And I think it's probably because they see Riot doing so well. So shout outs to both of those games. I've been playing more of them, and it's been very fun.
Yeah, you got a little boy a game in there, the rotation as well, right? You're playing Animal Crossing stuff?
I'm playing Animal Crossing, yes. That is a very good part of the rotation. I am playing Animal Crossing, and I'm just loving it. It's just so fun. I have all these dope little outfits. Oh, man, you should see how fly I am in this game. And my,
you gotta come over to my
and my home is S tier, dude.
I'm getting pretty proud of my island. You should,
okay, all right, I'll visit.
I'm trying to get my turnip prices like 300 above, and then just like invite
dude,
a bunch of people
I can't wake up early enough on Sunday to buy the turnips. Not a chance in hell, man. I miss her every time.
My sister, they were talking about Animal Crossing, and they were talking about the turnip lady. Yeah. And she's like, I don't think unlocked her yet. Her sister sleeps in until like 1 p.m.
Unlocked her yet? Yeah, there's no way you're gonna see her ever.
She had no idea that was even a thing.
Yeah. So Andrew, Andrew, do you play Animal Crossing?
I don't have a Switch, but my roommate does, so I've played a little bit on his.
Is it fun?
It's a really calming game.
See, yeah.
It's like sit back and like just put on like some music or a TV show, and you just sit there and you're it's kind of like Daisy. You're working towards a goal which doesn't exist.
Yes.
It's at making what you have better.
Yeah, it's just, I think there is something that speaks to video games as a medium, like, right? Like, maybe it makes sense that our very first primitive games were pretty much about violence and killing things, right? Like, most shooters were about, like, that's what a video game is. Even when you go up to, action RPGs, the concept of enemies and players, and you're always overcoming things, you're always killing things, right? But now as we see video games as much more of a diverse art form and medium, and as casual consumers are also, consuming it more and more, we're starting to realize, there can be a game like Animal Crossing. I think Animal Crossing is the first time that, so many casual gamers have realized that one lesson when you say, oh, not all video games are competitive, or some video games can be chill, or some video games can just be about the aesthetic of being in them. Like Space Channel 5 is one of my favorite video games of all time. It's for the Dreamcast. It's just that music video game where you're dancing around and stuff like that. People don't think that. They don't think, Parappa the Rappa. Like, you need to have gamer knowledge to know that stuff. But I think Animal Crossing is doing something big.
Yeah, Katamari Damacy is my relaxed game for sure. So,
yeah, dude, that's a good one. My most relaxing game? It's got to be WoW. WoW Classic.
Wow,
yeah.
Really? Man. I'm so stressed every time I play any MMO. There's so much going on screen.
See, but here's the thing with WoW Classic. With WoW Classic, you have to front load all that stress. and anxiety, because the leveling process is hell. It's not fun. It's not fun. But you play it so you can access the chill vibe of being 60 and geared and just chilling. That's what we were, playing for.
I was telling Andrew before you hopped on the call before, it's just like I love checking games off my list, and any game that I can't do that with, I start feeling anxious. Like,
oh yeah, dude. MMO is not good for you, dude.
Cause like crossing Persona 5 Royal off my list felt real good.
Felt nice.
That was really good. 110 hours total time in that game.
Dude, 110 hours.
Straight finish.
So I've seen some people. Yeah.
I think nothing beats for like a game you can sit back and kind of mindlessly do stuff. Minecraft.
Minecraft's
it's all up to you what you want to do, and it's not like, I don't think the Ender Dragon, I never liked that update anyways. I'll be a little bit of.
People have been trying to get me back into Terraria since that new that last update dropped like last week or something. No, I was. Oh, what's up?
Do you ever play Starbound?
No, I know of it though. I'm gonna say Spore for some reason.
I always liked that more than Terraria personally.
Okay.
Hey, just wanted to shout out to man. I'm so bad at reading the chat. I got to be better at reading the chat, right?
Yeah,
shout outs to 3T209. Yeah, man. Burger tripping on that box game. That is hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Dude,
I grew up with Minecraft.
See, and that's what I was gonna say next, dude. Like, you must have grown up on Minecraft, right?
Came out when I was in 5th grade.
Yeah, man. That's a different world we live in, bro.
Oh yeah.
I can't. That
was like the first game of its kind, really, that broke through.
So imagine if Minecraft was your Donkey Kong Country. If Minecraft was the game that shaped you, and dang, you must be some chill gamer, Burger Bros.
But you can't even compare the amount of people that got changed from Donkey Kong to Minecraft. It's just Minecraft.
No, okay, well, dude, what do you think is better? I mean, not better, but bigger in terms of affecting gaming culture, Donkey Kong or Minecraft?
Minecraft.
Not even Donkey Kong Jr.?
Not even Donkey Kong Jr.
It's because the time,
Okay. Super Mario Bros. Or Minecraft.
I think it has to be Minecraft, and the reason I say that is because we have social media, we have YouTube now, so everything just spreads so much quicker.
It's true.
Yeah.
And also, it's the same thing. I saw a thing somewhere on the internet, the number 1 rated villain in movie history is now Thanos, with Darth Vader second. And I was thinking about well, why is it Thanos? And I'm like, well, number 1, it's a meme. He has many memes about him, but also that's what is hip and cool right now with a huge number of people. And Darth Vader still is very, very cool.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, though, think about it though, right? Their cinematic universe is Marvel. So if you grew up and you're of that young age range where when you first saw those Iron Man movies, that Spider-Man movie, your cinematic universe personally has been superheroes, and Thanos is positioned in the Marvel universe to be the biggest, baddest baddie of all. So yeah, it totally makes sense, I think, why this whole new generation, empowered by social media, would definitely view Thanos as the number 1 movie villain at all time. Whereas in the past, for nerds, the ultimate was Darth Vader, because Star Wars was so big. This is definitely the nerd.
Well,
movie.
That's what I was gonna say. It's now I think if you were to compare anything from the past 5 years, and compare it to anything from the past 50 years, the past 5 years will beat it every time.
Yeah.
Because it just comes back to gaming and geek culture is just not a niche anymore. There's so many people just playing games, just watching these comic book movies, and
not even close.
That's just where we are right now.
Well, anyways, that was a fantastic and lengthy intro. Do you guys want to get into the actual news? Do you want to even try to do our jobs?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna try right now. So it looks as if Riot Games, Valorant gets an official launch date. So you can check out this article on invenglobal.com. We have a pretty great Valorant section. But we now know that Valorant will launch on June 2nd globally. So that's it. We will be out of the beta. So expect new things. You can expect all sorts of stuff. And first of all, let's just give a hand to Riot. This is a pretty good beta, right? This is a pretty high beta. This was marred with very few downsides.
Yeah, and I really thought they would milk this for way longer than they did. I mean,
yeah.
I was expecting like a November release or something, like fall, but yeah.
3T, I don't think we keep your ranks, right? There's no way you keep ranks. It's fresh.
Player progression is reset, confirmed.
Yeah, totally reset. So, people have a chance to learn and learn now and play the game with a true representation of where your skills are. Because I know you do really bad the first 5 rounds when you just start playing the game, especially nowadays.
Yeah, it's probably better for your MMR if that's even a thing for Valorant.
Also, it's super easy to level up in Valorant. I went from like bronze to like high plat in a day.
Andrew,
because you just get on that win streak. And
how do you say Valorant? Andrew, how do you say
Valorant? Valorant.
Okay, Valorant.
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 I mix it up. I'm in the Midwest. We're mixing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like. I'm like, did you hear that, Eric? You hear that? Valorant.
Yeah, a little bit.
I love Valorant, man. That is great. That is
here
great.
In Kansas, Valorant.
Man, Valorant's great. Love that game. Damn.
Valorant.
So I think kind of ditto to that. I think the game's been really, really great, and I also expected them to milk this longer, but they're not. And honestly, I think this is like an aggressive move for several reasons. One, I think that they got so many people playing this game, and I know that the team dev, the guys led by Volcano and all of them, they really know their stuff. And I think the fact that this team of like esports veterans have been so involved in the community, I think they've learned a lot about this game in terms of balance. And I think that,
I think another big part of why they just wanted to put this out as soon as possible is, Riot's not just League of Legends anymore. They've got all these different games coming in, and they really don't want, Valorant to cannibalize, anything else that they're working on.
Yeah, because it can't steal the spotlight for so long. Yeah. Like, it needs to get out of the way. It needs to become its thing. It needs to have its core audience cemented. We need to move it on because we already are kind of lagging behind Legends of Runeterra, which hasn't really gotten the push from Riot. And it's time to move on, Valorant.
I think this is just another case of Riot taking a look at what Blizzard's done in the past and kind of realizing what doesn't necessarily work. You see that with like Heroes of the Storm. Like, how long was that thing in beta with like multiple names and multiple changes in the name of the game, even just like fighting with Dota and Steam and everything about all that. It just lost so much hype because it was just in like a testing phase for so long, and then by the time it came out, Overwatch was right there, and then Overwatch took over all of their competitive resources. So
it's and too, I think like Blizzard seemed to have their genres mixed up. They should have led with Overwatch, obviously, right? They have both games in the can, both games making, right? When you first released Heroes of the Storm, like, it wasn't anywhere close to being a finished game. Can you imagine the hype if through the Overwatch hype we heard like MOBA after year 2 or like year 1? That would have been so cool. It would have been something like way more polished. So I think Riot definitely has the benefit there because they're able to go from a harder to make popular genre like MOBAs, and they're able to bring all of that fan love and all of that expertise and all of that esports balance, experience into FPS, a genre that's always been ripe with a disruption because there was never been really one king of the FPS games.
you're totally right. I would much rather move from MOBA to FPS than have my FPS, fan base and then try to move into MOBA. I don't think it would work at all. So
no,
that's a good point.
I know a lot of my friends are like Siege players.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've branched out and we've tried playing other games. Like they're really big into Tarkov, those style of games. And there was like a month where they all tried to play League,
mm-hmm.
and they just couldn't get into it. And I think that just has to do with like the differences between like a MOBA personality of a person and like an FPS. Because in FPS, I mean, I love FPSs, but they are very simple in their idea.
Mm-hmm.
See bad guy, shoot bad guy. Like you can win by doing that.
Yeah, especially when you're coming off of FPS, and the learning curve for League of Legends. I mean, their tutorial system is pretty solid, but it just takes it's all about game sense, and that only really comes from hours and hours of play.
But I think it's like a different type of gaming experience, though. Like I think, while yes, the MOBA seems like a long stretch of strategy and precision, it's much more calculated, whereas I think FPS games is so quick. Like that's the point. It's like just as competitive, just as a potent to be mastered, but it's like a sprinter rather than a marathon runner, like those Dota guys who play those 3-hour matches. Have you seen those? It's insane. But some of these matches are like insane chess matches, so I just think they're different.
They are.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree with you. You said chess. Chess has been pretty big on Twitch recently.
Yeah, dude. So first of all, I'm happy to see that. I've always been a chess nerd, but I think it's the same type of thing going on with Tetris ever since Tetris 99. Like Tetris has just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's because of one game or one way in which people were fed that old school game. So in this case, it was a switch lights and switches. With Tetris 99 was just free, right? Or like you could just download it. And now I think you're seeing the same thing, but with chess, people are getting a way to see chess in a really fun and like interactive way they've never done before. They're able to see the hype and see the good plays and want to learn. Have you guys watched any of it?
Yeah, I'll watch the clips the funny clips that go through, and I'll watch like Rikara, Hikamura. He's like a grandmaster. I'll watch it when he's like watching another streamer.
Mm-hmm.
It's really entertaining. Like I'd say sometimes watching streams isn't really entertaining. You're watching it because you like the personality. So some people watch certain League streamers because their personality. Tyler 1 people probably won't mix with like LS people just because they're so different. But the chess ones, it's like you get to watch someone watching someone, but the person that's watching like is telling you and teaching you at the same time.
Yeah.
Just how chess is, and there's some funny moments too.
You can't get in shape because you
that's
don't have
crazy. Man, I'm trying to load up right now this really awesome YouTube video, but I'll just have to give it a shout out. I've been really in love with some of the content that like the competitive chess world puts out. This is something I love. It's called the St. Louis Chess Club. They have a really great YouTube. I gotta get a better crop of this thing. Jeez, I'm trying to show you guys this. But anyways, these guys make fantastic chess content, and it's really fun to watch. Like Andrew was saying, it's really competitive, and it's hilarious. So Ben Feingold is a GM, and he does this thing called Newbie Beatdown, and he just goes through these matches and just eviscerates the amateur play, and in a really funny way he teaches you so much about competitive chess. So if anyone likes chess content, definitely take a look at that. Cool. But anyways, back to Valorant. I'm happy that it's going to be released, and I guess I'll probably be playing the launch on June 2nd. If you guys are going to be playing, maybe tweet us at Inven Global and let us know what your tag's going to be or who you main. Let us know what's going on.
We got a week from today, and the beta ends on the 28th. So got a couple days for that too.
Get your games in. Moving on to the next topic. A Crucible, guys. What has been your impression of Crucible? Okay, so what's with the laughter? What is the laughter?
We were talking about it yesterday.
Yeah.
We had differences in opinions on
Yep.
how this would turn out.
Yep.
I just think that game sucks.
Really?
Yeah, it's a bad game.
Okay, I want to hear it.
No, I mean, Andrew, would you like to kick things off? I'm sure you're. Maybe
I haven't played it personally because, to be honest, until you guys told me about it, I hadn't heard about it.
Really?
I did tune into a stream for a little while, and I watched it. It seems like a meshing of so many different games that it kind of just like evens themselves out. There's that term like jack of all trades, master of none.
Yep.
Well, this one seems like jack of all trades, like not even good at all.
Really? That's brutal.
I mean, it's a very good looking game. Like in my opinion, like it's got a good look to it, but it's just not really something I'm like, ooh, like that looks like I know what's going on. And I really like the look of that because I consider myself pretty well versed in genres. Like, I can look at a game and get its genre.
I'll give it that. The art style itself is really not that bad. It would have been really easy for them to just kind of copy the like Fortnite style or the Apex Legends style or something.
Yeah.
But they're trying to do their own thing right here. And the other pro I could probably say about it is like the hero or champion or whatever they're calling these people.
Yeah.
Like the variety with their moves and stuff. It's interesting. Like one character feels like another character, which is, a particularly hard thing to do, especially in these kind of games.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where the boat ends. The buck ends? What is that phrase?
The buck ends.
Yeah.
The buck.
The buck stopped here.
The buck stops here, yeah. I don't know. It just doesn't feel particularly good. I had a pretty bad experience trying to get into the game at first where it made me play the tutorial like 3 separate times, just going through before it would let me queue up for like an actual online match. And there was like a little disclaimer at the very top that was like, oh yeah, we've been hearing you guys have been having trouble. Just try to play through the tutorial a bunch of times and it would probably fix it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so that was the whole thing. And then once I got into the game, I don't know, the maps are just so big because, I mean, apparently the story was that this started a battle royale game, and then they kind of veered away from that, just with Fortnite kind of taking over and Apex Legends in the course of its development cycle. So yeah, it became what it is now, where there's like environmental things they have to kill for experience, and there's like shared like team experience. That's the whole thing. But the monsters are just so boring. They're so like predictable. Like some characters have movement options, but like the tanks don't, and it's just trying to get from one end of the map to the other is so slow.
Really?
The moves themselves, some of them are cool, but none of them really have, I feel like, a huge impact on the game. Just from like the few characters that I played, like there was like a stun grenade and like a sprint or something, and that was like a DPS dude. So I don't know. Steam reviews are like pretty mixed bag, but it's leaning towards the more negative side.
Well, I mean, so I think it makes sense that you guys say that this game is like, it's beautiful, and like it is. It's absolutely gorgeous. I would love to play in this environment. But I tried to get a play group of this with my friends together, and all of them, when I said, hey guys, do you want to play Crucible? Most of them were like, what? And then like the other ones were like, wait, that game? And they're like, oh yeah, I hear that's awful. Oh, okay, so we didn't play. Like, I just didn't push it. Oh, okay, I guess the game sucks, right? And I think a lot of what you're saying is true. I've watched more gameplay of it just because I wanted to still see it, and pretty much everyone's saying that. Now, here's something that I think could be happening, because like Andrew mentioned, he didn't even know this game existed. He didn't even know this was happening, right? What if the guys heading up Amazon Game Studios know they need a beta? Like, they know they need an open beta. They know this game isn't ready. So when they launch it, it's not to any fanfare. It's like no marketing, no anything. So it just essentially gives them a time to like make it better. What do you think are the odds that they're going to keep like trying to fix this game and make it fun and maybe address those things that you just said?
I don't know. I think this game was already in early access at one point. I visited their Discord because, you know, I was having problems at first. It seems like they have like a pretty big community and they've been around for a while. I think they had like 8,000 members or something, which I was like really surprised at.
Really?
Yeah, so
how are people even playing this game? Really? So you're saying people already have been playing the alpha?
Yeah, it might have been like closed beta or something, but yeah, I just did not hear about it at all.
Wow, I didn't know about that at all either. At all.
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of also like that Battleborn game?
In
style?
That's what I compared it to.
It seems similar.
Last time.
Because I remember, because that game had like PvP, PvE elements.
Yeah, where you're basically trying to march like minions into a base and take it out. It's kind of like the Smite thing too. Yeah, I don't know. I was talking about this in the last episode, but I just don't think there's as big of an audience as these developers would like to believe for these kind of games. It's just like,
it's just too little, too late. You know, if I had seen this game 3 or 4 years ago, I would have been so intrigued. You know, like, what's this? Oh my god, like, what is this? This is so cool. What an interesting type of game. But now all you compare it to is Overwatch. All you compare it to is Destiny, and you're just saying, okay, this isn't anything new. It's just a new version. And do I really want to get invested right now? Like, is now the time I want to learn a whole new game? Not really. I kind of want to stick to the ones I know. So, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like this is something that I've thought about. I think you either got to make your game cute, like Animal Crossing, of where you're just going to hit everybody and people are going to feel good about it. Or you got to make it competitive, or you got to make it really niche.
Really?
I feel like like competitive because, you know, esports, it's like, you know, if your game is good, your esport will more than likely be good also. Not always. But you know, if you know what I'm saying, like
yeah, I mean, like, a good niche game is, you know, it definitely has its audience, but I'm sure trying to get investment off of that pitch is not, you know,
I'm not sure,
especially with, you know, Amazon you know, putting their money behind it. I'm sure, especially since this is one of their first forays into, you know, gaming in general, I'm sure they wanted to make this thing that was just like, oh, we're gonna hit like the MOBA players, and we're gonna hit the FPS players, and like,
and you know, it's probably much more likely too that this is just one of many games that Amazon Studios is working on.
They've got an MMO coming out like in 2 months or something.
Yeah, you know, so maybe like they're totally working on other games, and maybe they just pushed this one out and now it's all right, this stalls us. Who knows? But yeah, this doesn't look so good right now. Yeah, any last remarks?
Nah, I just kind of wanted to throw it out there. I definitely don't think, you know, this has to be the end for this game. You know, if they have the money and the patience to just keep working on it, you know, just kind of cementing in their own audience. Apparently they already have it. You know, their Discord channel is pretty huge, like I was saying.
Really?
But yeah, they're I don't know.
I think there's hope for it, that maybe they can find it. Because Rainbow Six Siege, you know, that game was a dumpster fire at best at launch. But you know, now let's not talk about, you know, like a couple months ago the game was like really doing well. I saw that GameSpot did their like 2020 re-review of that game, and they gave it like a 10 out of 10. Well, it's come a long way. And made a lot better. So I really hope they don't just like pitch it and be like, never mind, because there are people that play, and I bet you there are people that really enjoy it. and it's sad to see a game's servers get shut down because kind of at that point you know that it's over.
It is sad.
Even if they give community.
It is sad. Well, as a fan of a dead game, I wish you luck. Crucible, I wish you luck. Crucible community, and right now I am trying to get this source to not be over my head. All right, podcasting. Okay, so on to our next topic. BlizzCon. Oh my God, BlizzCon is canceled. 2020. This is official. It is done.
I think it's the smart decision to make. You don't want. I think just looking at it from business perspective, you don't want something really bad to happen versus a great time. I think it's just better be safe than sorry.
Yep, and so they released a letter to the Blizzard community and fan base and gaming industry. It was a pretty heartfelt letter. They said, a gaming convention is probably the last thing on most people's minds right now, and that goes for many of us at Blizzard too, as events around the world, yada yada yada, COVID, everyone is still asking us about BlizzCon. And they said that they love BlizzCon and they understand how it's good for friends and they understand that everyone falls in love here and there's people who get married here. They just had to say that it's just too early to know whether BlizzCon 2020 is feasible. However, they are going to probably do some online equivalent or some sort of thing like that.
Yeah, something. I mean, we all saw this coming.
Yeah.
I mean, how the hell is BlizzCon, going to happen this year, honestly?
Yeah.
I mean, you think Blizzard is kind of relieved that they don't have to deal with BlizzCon this year? You think?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm sure someone in that company has been pitching, maybe we should just take a break. Maybe this doesn't have to be like an annual thing. Sometimes we don't really have anything to show at all. Like, that's how we get into these big messes with, the Diablo mobile game reveal and,
It's an early April Fool's joke.
Hey, 1 second. Someone is calling me. Just please talk. I have to. 1 second.
Dealing with all this controversy, just like, I don't know. If I was Blizzard, I don't think, especially now with like where the company's reputation is, I wouldn't want to, have this giant like global stage where people could like criticize and show off all this hate for the company. So I don't know. How do you feel, Andrew?
Yeah, like I said, I feel like it's just a safe, smart thing to do, because that's so many people, and everyone's health and safety is more important, and ultimately, gamers, we all like to stay. A majority of us stay at home and game.
Do you have any true affinity for like a Blizzard game?
I was really into StarCraft in middle school.
Okay.
I'd say I lean more towards that. For like a couple months, that was all I played. I'd like watch pro games and everything. I was like, I knew the keyboard shortcuts, and I was like, I had a game plan. I was that dedicated.
We've all been there, man.
Yeah, I was tearing, and I was like, this is exactly what I'm gonna do. And then I kind of took a step back, and I'm like, why is this fun? I'm like, it's fun, and like when I have long games, it's fun, but ultimately, like
it's work too. It's work too,
And it kind of gets into that groove where the beginning of the game is always the exact same. You've got your strategy and just kind of doing that like over and over and over again until it gets to the point where you kind of have to adapt on the fly and everything. It can be a little grating, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I think some people love the strategy so much, and it's so intense for them that like it has created the perfect gameplay loop, because you get to chill out for like 7 minutes after some intense game, and then alright, you're chill, you did all the things, you see the first enemy unit in like 5 minutes, or like sometimes slower.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, man, good on you, Blizzard.
How do you feel about it, Nick? You've went to how many BlizzCons now?
I've been to many. I've worked at them. I've done media for them. I've done many things at BlizzCon. I went to the very first BlizzCon when it was just some tables and chairs, and it was so funny. You could just reach out and touch someone during a World Championship esports matches. You could just go up and like shake them if you wanted to. There was no security. No one cared. One of the biggest features was a game called StarCraft Ghost, which was a game that very, very few people played, but it was amazing. It was like the very first Battle Royale. It was insane. It was like a deathmatch game, but you were the Zerg.
I thought it was like a single player.
No,
thing.
no. So
that ended up getting canceled or something.
So
right?
now that's what they were selling as it then. They were selling it then. But okay, originally it was a multiplayer game. It was like a 4v4 shooters, right? One side's Terran, one side's Zerg. The Terrans start off as 4 SCVs, and the Zerg start off as Zerglings. Every time you get a kill, you get a point. And you can keep those points and eventually upgrade to the next unit. So the SCV could become a Marine, or a Zergling could become a Hydra, or and then like there were tiers. So it's like the most expensive unit for Zerg was the Hydraless. You'd literally be flying around, like killing people. And then the highest one for Terran was the Ghost. You were a sniper. And so like it was a dope game, and you literally only got to play it once. Anyways, what I think about this. Just that little StarCraft Ghost history. What I think about this.
You missed last year too.
I didn't miss it. I purposely didn't go. Listen, BlizzCon needed a break because these things are expensive, and these bands are expensive, and it's not as if you feasibly make more money than you spend. I mean, I'm sure you have a huge merch push, which is great, but you're just trying to use that to cover the cost. It just, simply put, BlizzCon is bigger and bigger every year, and they always have to blow the pants off. I mean, it's so hard to beat the hype that was when Overwatch was released. When Overwatch was released, like, you can't beat that, and yet they have been trying to beat that over and over again, and sometimes it just is so flat because you keep trying to compare it. So honestly, I think that's why Warcraft Reforged turned out the way it did, because they needed something to hype that show up. So they hyped up Reforged, which created a lot of expectations that made the project way bigger than a few guys in the classic departments whose job it was, I bet, to make that thing happen. I just don't believe like Blizzard would do such a poor job of that. So anyways, I think this is great for them. I think they're going to save a bunch of money, save a bunch of time. They can get away from those embarrassing PR videos or those embarrassing on stage, we are sorry, and all these dumb things that always end up just mocking the company on YouTube and all those edits, and it's the risk for gaffes that everyone uses to mock your company. So yeah, I think Nintendo were way ahead of the curve. We've said this before on this podcast. I think this is ultimately good for Blizzard, and I'm glad they're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, last year was the first time that I went to BlizzCon, and just kind of overhearing some of these conversations that I heard from people walking around. People spend like thousands of dollars to be there. They came from
dude, it's a big deal.
Other countries just to be there for like 3 days or something.
Yeah, man, it's
hotel,
crazy.
Like airfare, and I'm sure those are the people that do it every single year too. So I don't know. It's probably in their best interest to kind of take a break from BlizzCon for a year too.
It is,
especially now with the financial climate not being so hot. People need as much money saved up as they can get their hands on right now.
You sure? Yeah, I would have never went. So,
and then you get a year to come out with something Overwatch-esque.
Yeah,
show off,
maybe Diablo 4 like playable in a way that makes everyone happy.
It was like a panel that Jeff Kaplan was on, like literally right after the announcement of Overwatch 2. Someone asked, "Oh, when can we expect to see Overwatch 2?" And he was like, "I don't know, no idea, no clue." So you could definitely tell it was just something that Blizzard made him say was coming, because what else are you gonna do on the center stage for the Overwatch panel? So I don't know.
Overwatch 2. Well, good luck out there, Blizzard. The last story we have today is the pro driver hires gamer to race for him in, esports, NASCAR, and esports racing, this thing I was praising. Yeah, but he got caught. It wasn't him racing. He's not the gamer. He doesn't know what's going on. Okay, now listen. To this guy's case, I think he was been pretty honest about the whole thing. He's like, bro, I'm worried about a pandemic. I just didn't take this thing seriously. And I think that's true. A guy like this does not take competitive gaming seriously. And I don't think anyone could have really predicted how good it would look and how pretty much the entire fan base would think it is indistinguishable from a real race they would love to watch.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of the professionals, that had to transition from driving cars to sitting in their living room with like a controller or a steering pad or whatever are not, super thrilled.
Yeah.
They have to be a part of this. So.
It's really funny actually. So Formula One has been doing this. They've been doing some events.
Yeah.
Formula One's I'd say the pinnacle of motorsports.
Yeah.
So Ferrari has always been this like mysterious team. Like they always like in the shadows. Like, ooh, no, we're not gonna do that. So like the first year that they did F1 esports, they didn't have a team because they're like, we make a cars, we don't play video games. Like very very old fashioned. But now they've let their younger driver Charles Leclerc stream on Twitch and drive with all these other drivers on the video games.
Yeah.
And I have to say, these streams have been so entertaining.
Yeah.
But in defense of this guy, driving, if you've ever played a racing game, driving a real car and driving a game in a video game is completely different. And if you don't want to do that, I don't feel like you should have to go race in a virtual environment. They do practices, but their rigs are like more than like a car.
Yeah.
Of money. So I think it's pretty funny that we hired someone.
It is. And I think it was just bound to happen. And he got fined for it and everything. I don't think anyone's really.
He lost his seat on his team actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
It makes sense. It endangers the whole team. If you're a team owner, then that this is the only thing that your racing team has value in now. Is this e stuff, is the esports. And he definitely should be fired for it. I think part of what is what's I think most interesting though is that the fact that this gamer probably didn't have one of those expensive rigs, right? The gamer doesn't have any of the Twitch reflex or the so-and-so or any of that. He's like, I would love to see the setup of this dude, Lorenz Horzing, right? I would love to see his actual setup, how he did this. Was he just literally gaming with a pad? Because if that's the case and people start learning about that, that's really going to break the immersion that, this is just like real racing. It's like, nah, not really. It's a video game.
Well, yeah, I don't know why they're not all required to have video on them at all times. Apparently, this guy just didn't do it, and I think it says in there the second place dude was like, well, what the fuck? Why didn't he have his video on? And he called him out on it, and lo and behold, he was cheating super hard. So, this guy's going to turn into like a super villain against gamers.
Well,
gamers ruined my life. Show them.
He.
Them all.
Yeah, man. The guy discovered, I guess the upside of this is we've discovered a natural talent. The gamer who got third place, hey, man, good for you. You got some pretty good reflexes, right? You did really well versus people who trained their whole lives to do this in a near-perfect simulation. So...
And he said he hired a gamer, so the gamer got some money out of it, too, which is nice.
Yeah, man. They
probably
better...
got some clout for...
definitely clout. I think the gamers did nothing wrong. #gamers did nothing wrong. All right, so you know what? That actually, man, time flies, right?
Yeah, dude.
I can't believe it's already been about an hour. Well, hey, guys, do you have any wins and fails? This has got to be the fail. This is the esports fail of the week.
But the winner is the gamer.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
yes,
Money out of it.
this is the fail and the winner. Lorenz Horzeg. Epic. Guy got paid. Got played a game, got paid.
Epic. Got paid, came in third.
Nice.
Internet celebrity now.
Thanks for this story, Kotaku. This was a fun one to talk about.
Thank you so much.
Anyways, this has been our podcast. I want to shout out to our sponsor, HyperX. You guys, this quadcast mic, again, always saves me. There was a point in which this loud siren went on the podcast. So what did I do? I just muted my mic. That was pretty cool. So yeah, shout outs to that HyperX.
Great partners in general. We're going to be working with them again for.
It's true. Hey, no spoilers. No spoilers, but
spoiler free.
We do have a cool project coming up, but I'm not going to say anything. But HyperX is going to help us out with that too. So look forward to that. You guys can follow me, Nick Durazio, at NickDurazio3RD. You can follow our new intern, Andrew Berger, at BergerBR0S. And of course, you can follow Eric and Dell at Winco Stainless, WINKO Stainless.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find the audio version anywhere that you would normally find a podcast. We're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and everything. So yeah, check us out.
All right, guys, this has been episode 18. We will talk to you next time. We're signing out. Peace.